welcome back to the other side. I got Andrew Sandler back very quickly. He's the proprietor in Aspen, Colorado. Remember, we're here in Colorado. It's so beautiful. And I needed to ask him a couple more things that we didn't cover on the last one. One is the theory behind when I'm outside walking and I'm breathing in the fresh air and I see these planes shooting out stuff and making lines in every direction, whether I'm in Hawaii or Los Angeles or New York. And I'm like, what is that? And then there's people that are saying, oh, it's just spewing out. This is what they do. It's just what happens.
It's a contrail.
Exactly. Well, and then what's your opinion? I know you've done a lot of research on this. That's why I'm asking Andrew these questions, because he has fact-checked and has backed up on all his research. So you're one expert that I can ask in this, even though you're not a pilot, but you know a lot about this.
And I've had this conversation with pilots, and some of course think I'm nuts, and others are like, you are right. So the term chemtrail, what does chemtrail mean? It is the nickname basically for geoengineering, or in parentheses, SRM, solar radiation management. It has been around since the late 1940s, and this is not a contrail. A contrail is emissions, water vapor that comes out of the back of a plane that disappears within a few seconds, sometimes longer, depending on the altitude or the temperature. We are talking about something completely different: geoengineering, chemtrails, solar radiation management. And so these are specially outfitted planes that spit out a cocktail of heavy metals: aluminum nanoparticulates, barium, strontium-7, all heavy metals. We see what happens in the sky. They lace the skies all over the world, not just in cities, not just above Aspen. They do this over the ocean. They blanket the entire sky, the atmosphere, with these heavy metals. There are a bunch of different directions to take this conversation. I want to keep it on the light side for right now.
Yeah.
So, what controls heavy metals? You know, how does a magnet stick to a refrigerator? These are metals, so there are things that can control them. Cell phone towers spit out radiomagnetic frequencies, RMFs, like our iPhones, which are constantly emitting EMFs, electromagnetic frequencies. But what does our body work off of? Electricity. Our brains put out electricity. We can be hindered by EMFs. You know, so you think that the human body is under constant assault from Wi-Fi signals, microwave frequencies. You should never use a microwave. Microwaves erode all of the natural nutrition and DNA in food that...
I never cook my food in the microwave. I always tell everybody I really care about. I mean, maybe the microwavable popcorn, once in a while I have that, but otherwise food, no.
We all do that with the popcorn. It's delicious. But anytime you can use a stove, you should use a stove. And for me, I just won't eat if there's a microwave. I'll figure something else out. That's how dangerous I think it is for you. So when your body is under this assault of all of these frequencies, you start saying, what else can these frequencies do and emit? So cell phone towers, from what I understand, from everything that I've studied, these radiomagnetic frequencies can manipulate the heavy metals in the sky. And so when you see the sky being sprayed like a checkerboard, what you'll notice is throughout the day, those lines spread and engulf the sky. And we have come to believe that these are just clouds. I mean, so many of us have forgotten what a cumulus cloud looks like, right? What a cirrus cloud looks like. These kind of, I'm trying to remember the word right now. It'll come to me in a second, but the way that these sprays end up looking in the sky looks nothing like a cloud. And what they're doing is they're raining these heavy metals all over us. It's in our food, it's in our vegetables, it's in our water, our lakes, our rivers. You know, we're eating animals, and animals are eating that. Obviously unbeknownst to them, but it affects everything. So why do they spray it? Well, what can you do with heavy metals? If you can blanket the sky and then you have radiomagnetic frequencies that can manipulate that. If you have a blanket of that metal in the sky, you can weaponize the frequency. You can manipulate it. You can bounce it off the metal to affect the entire population. I think there's more to it than just affecting the population, of making us depressed or making us feel a certain way. Because then you got to ask yourself, why are they doing it over the oceans? Why are they doing it over, so much of the land masses and ocean in the southern hemisphere? Why don't they just do it in more populated areas? Clearly there is something else going on there, whatever that might be. It could have something to do, as we've seen in movies when they hint about these things, terraforming the earth. So if you remember, I think the most recent Superman, the Man of Steel, with Henry, what's his name? His last name starts with a C. But they talk about terraforming the earth, and Zod comes back, and they put this incredible technology and machines in the oceans, and it starts manipulating earth. And they hint at heavy metals when they do this. And again, from our last conversation, this is referred to as seeding consciousness. It's basically getting our subconscious buy-in to what they are doing. So you have to ask yourself, what are they doing? Are they spraying these things to not only affect our brain patterns, our brain waves? Are they also doing these things to potentially connect with other entities that might need to utilize this type of terraforming or these type of heavy metals for their own stability? Does that make sense?
Yes.
So it is a variety of different things. There is not just one answer to it, but it is not good for any of us. It is not good for Mother Nature. It is not good for the earth. It's not good for Earth's vibration or frequency, along with humanity's vibration and frequency. But it's been going on since the late 1940s. The next question we always get is, how have they been able to keep this such a secret? You know, everyone goes, there's no way a group of human beings or the United States government could keep this a secret.
Well, before you answer that, because I have people in my life that are totally against, that it's not chemtrails, it's totally conspiracy theory about what you're saying, and that it's normal. So they did the research, they went online, they found all of the places where it just debunks everything that you're saying. So who is putting that information out? And obviously that if this is true, they're hiding it through Googling the debunking of a chemtrail. So
yeah, everyone loves to constantly copy and paste Snopes.com,
right.
Loves to cite, was it PolitiFact, I think factcheck.org. All of these businesses that are controlled by the puppet masters. I mean, Snopes had a huge donation to it by Soros. Soros, through a variety of different LLCs and entities and NGOs, was controlling that and controlling many of these other, whatever you want to call them, intelligence dissemination or falsehood dissemination campaigns that they've been using for years. You know, and what's so interesting is you start saying to yourself, okay, why is it that everyone is going to Snopes.com to debunk something that could be true or it could not be true? But why is there only one source to go to? Why is it that we are all programmed to go to Snopes? Go to factcheck.org. Is there no other source that we could go to? Or is it that we don't know where to go without someone aggregating that false information for us to just blindly copy and paste?
So if you put in, is chemtrails real, what's going to come up first?
I think if you're looking at Snopes, I think it says false, colon, and then goes into what it is, and it tries to sell us on the fact that it's contrails. YouTube does that. You know, if we were to put this video on YouTube, right underneath the video, it says something like, fact, contrails are just this, and that. They're not this. And so you're constantly getting this disinformation, and you're trying to balance it out. You know, what are they trying to do? They're basically trying to make you feel a certain way for seeking the answers and seeking the truth. I think we had ex-CIA head Brennan, I think it was back in 2012, came out and addressed geoengineering and other technologies. And what did he call it? He called it geoengineering and spraying of the skies. Mm-hmm. And there's a great, this is out of an hour-long interview. It is a great 3-minute clip where he basically tells us all that this is happening. Mm-hmm. Why would the CIA ever come clean about something like that? You know, there had to be an okay for him to do that, and for again seeding consciousness for us to buy into it and understand it. And even when you post that interview on Facebook or you send it to someone, they still don't believe it, even though the guy who's head of the CIA.
There are always going to be people like that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to believe it.
And that part, what we call cognitive dissonance, when someone even rejects something that's right there in front of them, because it fractures their reality and fractures everything that they know to be truthful. And they can't really take the truth. You know, you start saying, why is that happening? Why are people having such emotional upheavals to truth and to just a basic conversation. You know, you and I are sitting here, anyone can tune in and watch this. Why do people have such a visceral reaction when it comes to something as basic as geoengineering, which has been around for so many decades? We all know it's right there. We see it in the skies. It's not contrails. And here we are, you know, talking about it. And this is good to get it out in the ether, but people literally need to say, okay, maybe there's some truth to this.
Well, yeah, there's going to be people out there that's going to take a side. He's full of shit. What does he know? You know, they're going to say that, or they're going to go, oh, I thought that, or I was questioning it, and now when he's talking, it's making sense. And so we're going to have both sides, which is fine. Yeah. That's what we're here for.
I get the full of shit all the time. I mean, people are constantly telling me, listen, I can't have a visceral reaction to them. I say, listen, I'm just sharing the information with you.
Exactly, sharing information.
If you want to shoot me and drop me in the ocean, I understand that. Please don't do it. I'm just here to help.
So what were the pilots? Do we hear from?
So if you watch a lot of these documentaries, there are some pilots who are in on it on commercial jets. I mean, there's a great video of one pilot forgetting to shut off the machinery that was spraying these things out of the wings that landed at an airport. I think YouTube basically scrubbed it about a year ago. And there's other pilots who are on the documentaries going, and they show you the button that they hit to spray. But for the main part, these are CIA planes that are spraying. From what I understand, these are CIA planes that are spraying this, a very compartmentalized black ops budget. And that's the reason why a lot of people don't know about these things. It's also the reason why people will say, how would the government get away with this? People have got to be able to discern between the government and black ops, deep state teams that do these things. What does that mean? Let me give you an example. Above the president's head, take Trump. Trump gets in office. He's never been a politician whatsoever. He gets in office. He has a certain clearance level. Every year, that clearance level goes up. What people don't know is there's 1 to 45 clearance levels above the president's head. That's how we keep Area 51 such a secret. That's how we keep all these deep underground military bases such a secret. And there's thousands of them all over the country, all over the world. I mean, we have a maglev rail system that basically floats and levitates and goes Mach 3 miles an hour. From LA to New York, you can get there in 52 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, we don't talk about it though. I mean, but it's there, it exists. There's many people who do talk about it, but the reaction to it is, that's hogwash. It's not hogwash. And that's how it's referred to as black ops operations that are going on. How do you fund these things? Well, let's just take the Calvi cartel, the Pablo Escobar cartel, the Sinaloan cartel. You know, I think in Escobar's heyday, he was selling $420 million a week of cocaine. We all know the CIA was down there. What was their percentage? You know, why is there no wall on the southern border? You know, how do you move those drugs? How is the most powerful nation north of the highest producing cocaine nations in the world, but yet we can't seem to fix the problem? We can't do anything about it. Might it be because we're in on it with them? Not us, not the government, but these areas of a sub-government, a shadow government that is doing all these things behind the scenes that we don't talk about.
Let me ask you, because you probably know, were there underground tunnels built?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
There's a lot of them, right?
Oh, there's hundreds of thousands of miles under the United States and under all these other continents of massive tunneling. And what they don't tell you is that the military industrial complex has technology 1,000 years ahead of anything in the private sector. That goes unmentioned. You know, anyone who wants to look into something like that, please Google Operation Paperclip. When Allen Dulles, head of the CIA, made a deal with the top 2,000 Nazi scientists to bring them from Germany in 1945 over here. Well, a lot of these Nazi war criminals escaped to South America, but we brought a lot of them over to the States. You know, we got one of the good ones, or I should say smart ones, Wernher von Braun, who created NASA. You can go look him up. Where did the CIA get all of its indoctrination and its programming? You know, a little thing called MK Ultra that the Nazis had been working on since the 30s. I mean, the Nazis permeated our government so easily in 1945 with the help of Allen Dulles and many other people who are part of that shadow government. And they're still around today. I mean, how come none of us are allowed in Antarctica? You know, people are like, no, Andrew, you can take a cruise ship to Antarctica. No, Andrew, you can hike a little in Antarctica. Antarctica is massive. And you know, the Antarctica Treaty, I think of 1958, I think 150 countries signed on to that. When's the last time there was consensus between 150 countries about something, about why citizens are not allowed in Antarctica. What is going on down there? What are they hiding down there? You know, is there breakaway civilizations? You know, there's the whole theory about fallen angels many millennia ago and trapped under the ice. Is that true? There's a lot of truths. There's a lot that's come out of that. You can read Admiral Richard Byrd's diaries, Operation High Jump, 1947, when he took an armada down there to confront some rogue Nazi installations down in Antarctica. And the armada got destroyed within 2 hours. You know, they talk about flying discs coming out of the water. They think we lost 2,200 men. He came back with his tail between his legs. And basically a lot of the stuff was classified as top secret. But these are all things that you can go Google and you can go look up.
It's an encyclopedia of all these theories. Wow. I mean, we could spend hours, but coming back to the chemtrails, this is something, believe it or not, you could do your own research. Andrew's here to bring some information to the forefront about chemtrails. If you don't believe it, that's fine. This is a side that, I don't know, I've been tossing around, but you made it a little bit more clear. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Diane.
So thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next time on the other side.